everyone, this is Mrs. Nass, the librarian at West, and I'm here today to walk you through some of our databases at the high school level. So I'm at the West LibGuides, and I'm going to click on West Library Resources to access our databases. If you scroll down, the first ones you're going to see are the Gale Student Resources and Contacts and then JSTOR. I'm going to take you into all the Gale ones first. So as we scroll down, you're going to see lots of Gale databases, and I'm going to start to think, ooh, if I'm off campus, can I even get into these? You can, because you have database passwords. So while I have this tab open, if you go over to the West Library Curricular Resources in your Schoology page, and you click on Passwords and Logins for Remote Access of Databases, I give them to you two ways. I list them here, but I also give you a link to make a copy of my Google Drive paper that has all the passwords on it. So I would go ahead and make a copy of that and save it in your drive so that you have it. I'm going to go back over to Gale and show you a couple things. First, if you just look at this, Gale, Gale OneFile, Gale and Contacts, that's three different levels of Gale databases. So the Gale ones that just have like Academic OneFile or Books and Authors, they are generally higher level databases, and they're just not as pretty as the Gale and Contacts ones. The Gale in Context takes stuff that is in the Academic OneFile and Books and Authors and puts it in context of something else, like biography. So I'm going to click on biography. And all Gale databases are kind of set up the same way. So I'm going to scroll down and you'll see some kind of highlighted topic right there. And then you'll be able to browse as you go through. So let's say I was interested in my friend Greta. Once we're in with Greta, we'll see an overview. Now this is an article, but it's an overview article that gives an overview of the entire situation. If I scroll down, you're gonna have subjects you can go into. So this gives you biographies, news, images, audio, magazines. And then I can click within there. So it says I have 3 biographies, 9 audios, 20 magazines. Now note, it only shows me 3 magazines over on this side, but there are actually 20. So if I click on magazines, I'm going to get into all the magazines. And this is the same for all the Gale databases. Now I'm going to back out of this for just 1 second, and I'm going to show you some of the more popular databases. So as I scroll down, the ones we generally use a lot of are Global Issues in Context, High School in Context, Middle School in Context, Opposing Viewpoints in Context, which pits like if you have a pro-con issue. Then we have Science in Context, U.S. History in Context, and World History in Context. I'm going to go into the most popular one, which is High School in Context. Same structure. You have your search bar up here, topics of interest, and then browse topics. But let's say that I was doing work on coronavirus. I'm going to slow my roll and look at what came up. See how I have one that's bolded here, ones that are not bolded? All of these will work as search returns, but the ones that are bolded are going to take you to a subject page like I showed you on Greta. These are going to more take you to a list of resources, which is totally fine. It's just not a subject page. So I have images, I have videos, I have audio, I have magazines. Now, many of your teachers will say, I only want academic journals. So if I click on academic journals, and then I find an article I want, I can click on it. Within the article, I have a couple options. I can listen to the article. I could translate the article into a ton of different languages. Up top, I have my citation. So I can cite it and I can export it to my Noodle Tools. I can send it to myself, to my Google Drive, which I highly recommend. I can print it, I can download it, I can get the permanent link, or I can see my highlights and notes. Let's talk about that. So if I go through here and I start reading and I want to take highlights and notes, I highlight, I drop my mouse, I click highlight, I pick my color, and I do my notes. Wow. Click save. Once I finish with my highlights and notes, if I send it to my Google Drive, it's going to send the article with my highlights and notes attached to it, which is just awesome, right? So I just wanted to show you that piece of how Gale works. I'm going to jump out of Gale for a second and I'm going to go back here and show you JSTOR. So JSTOR is a high-level database. JSTOR you need to log in every single time, even if you're in the school building. So the login's right here. And you'll find the login on that sheet that I gave you, but I'm going to be permanently logged in. Same deal. I'm going to search coronavirus. And note that I can sort over here. And then I have a lot of capability, but if I jump into an article, it's going to give me the option to download the PDF. Here's that cite that item. That's super important to us. So I can copy it and I can cite it in Noodle Tools through a copy and paste. And I'll show you more of that when you get into actual projects and we get closer to that. The last thing I want to show you that I'm just working through, I'm going to jump right back into my LibGuides, make it a little bit easier for you. Into West Library Resources. So I showed you Gale and I showed you JSTOR. The last one I want to highlight is EBSCO. So EBSCO also has a sign-in. You have EBSCO Host Web. You have Explora. So this is kind of like the OneNote one file. So EBSCO Host Web is more collegiate. It's going to give you access to a ton of journals. Explora is the same kind of thing, but more functioning in the high school. So it's a little bit of a prettier interface. And then we have Science Reference Center, Auto Repair Source, Small Engine Repair, Literary Reference Center, and AP Newsroom. AP Newsroom gives you access to all of the AP News articles and images that are being written, and it's just an awesome resource. But I just want to quickly show you where to go. High School 1. There you go. High School Search for Power Library. So this is Explora. And again, it's a nice interface. So we have the same thing where we're highlighted topics and then it breaks it down. I do my search. I can link just scholarly articles if I want to. It's going to limit my search quite a bit. I can change my publication date. I really only want ones in the last 2 years, right? And so now I can start to look at my articles. And so this, what I wanted to show you is over here. So this is where I can send it to my drive. This is where I print it. This is where I can email it to myself. And this is where I cite it. So I click that. I can copy. I'm going to go find the MLA. I'm going to copy this. So now for all of these guys, all three database things that I showed you, I'm going to take you into Noodle Tools real quick and show you where I'd put that citation. So over here, and I'll go over all this again when you get into your projects, but I just want you to have an overview to start. We're going to go into Sources, New Source, Database, Journal. And then you have your copy and paste field right here. So the only one that doesn't do this is that Gale, you have an import, so it imports it directly over here. But the other two, JSTOR and EBSCO, we copy the citation and we're just going to paste it right there and manually edit it, and we're going to save it. So there it is. All right, guys. So just to go back over super duper briefly, I took you through the LibGuides. We hopped over into West Library Resources. We checked out JSTOR, we checked out Gale, we checked out EBSCO, but see that there's more here. So as you guys do your work, if you have any questions at all, please reach out to your teachers, reach out to me in the library, and I'm more than happy to help you. Thank you so much for paying attention. I hope to see you soon. Happy searching, friends.